A test here. I want to share something that, let's see, some testing from the Moly Cell P45B versus the new JP30, which is a 18653 amps hour. The Moly Cell, as you know, is the P45B, which is 4.5 uh, amps hour. So there is supposed to be in different categories because the Moly cell is rated based in Moly cell to 45 amps discharging rate, and the JP30 Ampes JP30 that we was testing yesterday, it's 36 amps hour. However, we discovered some surprises in that cell. That cell is behaving better than what we expect. Uh, let's see if I'm trying to check if there is somebody connected, but I cannot see it. I want to start showing some charts. Let's see. I'm waiting for someone else to connect. Make sure we have quorum. Uh, can can the person type something? Let me see if I can. Let's see. Okay, testing. I'm gonna type something. There we go. Anyway, I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start showing the screens from what I got. Let me show you the pictures from the cells. Actually, this is not the one that I'm looking for. You know what? I'm gonna share that from the Facebook page. Let me start sharing from the Facebook page. It's gonna be this. We're in Facebook. Let's go to the channel, and I'm gonna start sharing this information. You probably can see that this guys. That was the post. Wow, that was a great post that Steven did, talking about molly cells and all that. That's the one that I did yesterday. Right. That's in the picture you can see that's the Ampes JP30 in the LT wrap. There is another one here in the bag with the Moly cell. This Moly cell is the P30B. It's not the P45 B that I'm talking now. This one is 18650, so it's in the same category. However, the Moly cell and the EV30P, they are both rated to 30 amps. The JP30 is rated for 36. However, I want to show you some testing that I did yesterday. Let me check how it's going here. I want to make sure we have quorum. How you doing, Slayer? Yeah, man. Keep an eye on this. I'm gonna show you something that we find out, man. Um, Yesterday I decided to start testing the cells, right? And let me explain this graph. Let's start. This one is power over the time, right? I my first test, if you see these three ones in the graph, the blue one is the EV. That was the one that did the worst. Obviously, is the cheaper cell. Let me make sure. Can you hear me? Well, the 40. That, I want to talk about that retro. I'm gonna talk about that. You are gonna see what's happening is, remember these cells, the one that you see here, they are 18650s, 18650. They are not supposed to be even in the same category. Okay. However, you are gonna see something that I'm gonna show here. So with the EV, if you notice here, the EV, the blue one is the EV 30P, is the one that did the worst. Is the cheapest cell, and that's the numbers, time, or power or the time. This one, these three tests, the one in the bottom, which is this one, is under 30 amps. However, because the JP30 is rated to 36, I don't decide, okay, I'm not going to compare 36 with the other ones, on 30. So I put it in 30 to compare, which is the top layer, this one, and it did better than the other one. Expected. I expect that because it's rated for higher than that. So, but I decided to do a test with them alone. And look at this. That's the 36. What is it rated? The one in the center here, it did pretty good. And not only that, because it did so good, I decided to test the same cell at 40 amps. 40 amps. Even when it's rated to 36. So in 40 amps, it did pretty good. Look at the power, the deliver. Let's go to the next graph. More interesting is the voltage drop. So look at this. Obviously, again, EV under 30 amps. Yeah, that's the number that we seen, which was giving 3.75, 3.52. It's not bad. It's not bad. But the Molicel did better. If you notice here, I mean, it did better. However, the next graph at 30 amps, the one on top, is the same, the EV. I mean, I'm sorry, the JP30 at 30 amps. Look at that. It's so powerful. It's on top. The other ones that you see with the lines, that's the same JP30, but remember at 36 amps and 40 amps. Obviously, you are gonna see here low. We expect that because remember, first of all, it's rated for 36, and second, we're pushing 40, and still even pushing 40 amps is doing better than the same Moly cell under that. Look at that at 40 amps. Look at the lines here. I mean, it's amazing. Even, I mean, so this cell is going over the multi cell even in 30 amps, in 36, and even 40, which is not rated for that. I mean, it's really good. It's not until we have like 100, what, will says like 120 seconds, that obviously because the heat and all that, then it's going a little bit lower. But hey, this is 40 amps. We cannot compare. It's incredible. Now look at the next graph. Temperature. The JP30, to explain, is the coolest one. This is under 30 amps. The same JP30 under 36 is still cooler than the other cells, and under 40 amps, that's insane. It's still cooler than the same Moly cell and the EV 30p. This is incredible at 40 amps that is able to do this. Uh, what it's telling me is this cell it can even do more than 40 amps. Let's see the comments. I want to make sure we're not missing anything here. All right. Um, it can do more than that. However, I was discussing this yesterday with March, and yes, the cell is very. Let me show you the other graph. This is watts over the time. How many watt hours can provide the cell over the time? Look at that. It's incredible. I mean, powerful cell. Uh, the incredible part is the JP30 is able to deliver 9.95 at 30 amps, 9.92 at 36, and 9.78 at 40 amps, which means that it's not getting affected by the load. It's still delivering the same. Look at that. The moly cell was caught by temperature when was delivering 7.75 amps. We're gonna see that in temperature. I believe I can show you in this graph. See, that's when it was cut. As soon as the cell reached, well, that was the EV. As soon as reached the 70, well, the same moly cell, the same 80 amps, basically 80 degrees. They cut, they cut the test automatically. So we don't have cuts even in the JP40, even at 40 amps. It's doing really good, very impressive. And now the next one, capacity, which is kind of what's our so. But this part is the marketing part. Look at this. 30 amps at 30 amps is able to deliver 20. Well, this is the moly cell 23 20 23 23 out of 3000. The JP30 2947, that's almost the 3000 under 30 amps. Remember, when these cells are tested, for example, the moly cell, they test the cell at 1 amp. We are testing here at 30. Same with the EV. At 30, 36, and 40, and it still delivered 2975. Actually delivered more at higher current than lower. And remember, it's rated for 36, not 40. I push it to 40, still deliver. Well, the reason for this We was discussing that normally you see the number, the more current you use, the less uh, capacity delivered. However, there is a sweet spot when the cell heat up, the IR decrease. That's normal. And the thing is, when the IR decrease, the cell is able to deliver more current. That's the part. However, apparently there is a sweet spot between what I talking sweet spot is a happy medium between temperature and that IR that allow the battery to release its potential. And you see it here at 40 amp deliver even more than at 30 amps. That's incredible. That's really good. Now, science, and this is the testing current. Normally, I was testing at 30, all of the cells, just the JP30. I tested once at 36 and once at 40. That's the graph that I posed yesterday. See here, voltage over capacity. You can see here how, for example, the EV it caught even when was in 3 volts and around 15 1600 capacity, because the temperature to protect the battery, the system cut. Same with the multi cell, it cut. We still have capacity left. 2.97 was not too much left, but it cut by temperature. And in here, we don't have a cut because the cell never reached the 80 degrees. The JP30 in neither of the. This is remarkable. Now, I did something today since this cell tested so good with this 18650s. I decide, okay, you know what? I'm gonna test versus. Let me show you these graphs. I decide to test versus is this one? I'm sorry, it's not this one. Versus P45B, which is a 21700. That is not a fair comparison, but because the cell is doing so good, I decide to test that. Let me see if I can show you. Let me share the entire screen. Maybe I can do it like this. Um, you're gonna see everything. So sorry for the mess. It's just that I want to show you this part. Uh, Look at this. In this testing, again, it's not a fair comparison because one is 18650, the other one is 21700. So, and the multi cell obviously have more capacity, which is 4500 on paper versus 3000 on the JP30. But look at the results in the comparison. JP30, I mean, they start, and this one is, which one is this one? Temperature. Look at this. Is and this is 40 amp discharging rate. Even when it's not rated for 40, I put it on 40 to compare with the multi cell. Look at that. So the JP30, it room cooler. It room cooler than the multi cell P45D. P45B. So this is remarkable, remarkable. So let's see the next one. This one is watts hour. Incredible, incredible. The JP30 deliver more under the same load. 20. I'm sorry. 40 amps. Look at this. Look at the numbers. I mean, it's insane. And we are talking about the 45 is supposed to be 4500 milliamps. Now, obviously, capacity. Look at this. The multi cell deliver how much? 3156 under 40 amps load. Again, the multi cell is supposed to be 4500 milliamps. Delivered. I believe we have a cut in here. I mean, but still, look at this. I mean, this one is at 3000 milliamps. It failed to deliver only 25 milliamps. That's nothing. That's a perfect in my book. And now look at this, the power or in delivery. That's the how many what is delivering. Look at this. MPES is just phenomenal on top. Obviously, when it's reaching, this is in the timing. In the yes, the multi cell would go longer because I have more capacity. But look at this, the power delivery. That's the 40 amps for both. That's the current. And look at this one. That's the voltage. This is the sag, the sagging part. Look how the amperes. Th- uh, Again, we need to repeat that. 18650 cell is way more powerful, up to the 3 minutes mark. More powerful than a 21700 cell. Super high performance, rated to 45 amps. Again, the JP30 is rated for 36 and really can, I'm sure can compete with the in 45 category. It's just incredible. I mean, this cell is gonna be a monster. Anyway, I want to show you those numbers, which is incredible in my opinion. Let me stop the. It's a beast. By the way, I sold out. I only bring 100 of those cells for testing, and I sold them in 3 hours or less than that. And but I'm working to bring up around 2,000 cells. So I'm gonna bring those cells because they really is another league. Uh, well, the 30p is supposed to be in the same league. I mean, it's supposed to be in the same league, but you see the numbers. It's not. I mean, again, the JP30 36 amps. They put it in 36 amps. When I know it is more than that, and what I was discussing with Much is apparently they decide to put it in, underrate the cell, probably to protect the longevity of the cell, because we know, and this is not new. We know that there are cells that, again, not all of them, but there are many cells that they are rated for X amount of current, and we know they can deliver more. And but it's going against their longevity. So, for example, if the cell is rated for 250 cycles, and you push it over the limits, yes, you maybe kill that to 200 cycles, maybe. Who knows? We need to. I mean, that need to be tested. I hope Much can came out with that. I believe Ampes decide to um, maybe underrate the cell, because that's how I have to call it, because even it's not sagging. I mean, normally, is to give you an example, the EV26V. Ampes rated that cell to 7.5 amps or 8 amps. I believe it's 8. I tested on 13, and the cell doesn't overheat, but it sag a lot. The cell really sag a lot, and that cell is rated for 1,000 cycles. However, I'm sure if you push it too much, you're gonna kill that. That lifespan. You're gonna decrease that lifespan. So, and that's what I believe what it is. But still, I mean, the fact that that cell doesn't sag and is very way superior to their competition, um, because I don't consider that competition. Remember, this cell is not only in 18650. It's not only, yes, it's rated more current than the other ones, but this one is tapless. The other one are not. They are not tapless. We need to wait for the EV. The EV doesn't did bad. I mean, even when you see those graphs that are bad, I mean, doesn't did bad. Remember that cell is not tablets. I mean, the money cell is a super high performance cell. Is, well, using the numbers, but the what we need to see is when EV release the EV30 PL, the PL version from this one is 30p. The PL that is not in the market yet, I haven't seen it either. That cell, um, give me 1 second here. That cell, that EV, it's gonna be tapless. That one is gonna be competing directly with the JP30. I mean, that one is going to be competing. That's the one that really want to see competing with the JP30, since both of them they're going to be tablets. So, but anyway, just to give you heads up, Mooch is going to be receiving the JP30s. I sent that to him yesterday, I guess on Monday. He's going to be receiving that, and he's going to come out with the validations and his numbers. I really want to see that, to compare with my numbers and my findings. But yeah, that sale is going to be really amazing, and I'm trying to do my best to give the best price possible because the tariff are crazy. But I really want to put that sale under just $5. I mean, even if I can do it less than that, I'm gonna do it less than that. I'm just gonna pass the blast. I need to buy in quantity, big quantity, and there's not too much available right now because remember the sale is in under LT wrap, uh, which mean that is original Ampes, but it's watch out. That's why when you see the sales, they are not gonna look clean because the original wrap that say Ampes, they wash it out with some kind of chemistry. I don't know, something to erase that because they can not sell it as LT under Ampes wrap. So it's the same wrap again. It's just they erase the information. That's why it looked like washout, and then they reprint the LT. That's nothing new. The JP40 they came out in the same way. I'm gonna be getting JP40s finally again with LT wrap because right now the one with Ampes wrap is so expensive that JP40 is going over $7 and it's just inaccessible. And I know the LT is exactly the same cell. They behave the same. Yes, they look a little bit. The wrap look a little bit washed. When I say washed, I don't know if I show that. Let me see if I can show one. That's pretty clean. That's clean. Yeah, I don't have one here that look bad. So this one is pretty clean. Sometimes you see the information. Sometimes that the information is like it have like a, I don't know how can I explain, like tint. I mean, like you have tint and then you clean it with the finger. I mean, sometimes they look like that. This one doesn't look like that. Some of them they look like that, and it's normal. Saying with this is a JP40 LT version, which is exactly the same cell as the one that. Let me show you another one. That's the Ampere version. It's just the only difference is the information. That's it. It's the same cell. LT, they erase this part and they print this. And the amperes, well, we have the amperes information. Same cell, exactly the same cell, $7. And this one, I hope this is gonna be in the $5 range. When once came up, I don't know yet. We need to wait for the tariff. I mean, before give the pricing, but that's the pricing I expect be able to give at least $5.25 instead to $7. I mean, it's same cell, same cell. So um, again, but that's hey, this is I'm negotiating that right now. I'm not gonna have those sales in my hands until probably 35, 40 days from today. So that's gonna take time. But again, whoa, I'm really happy. This is a lot of sale. I mean, that JP30 really surprised me. So let's wait for more testing. And if you check with the Facebook group, check it out. I post few this testing. I'm gonna upload soon the one that I just did comparing with the Molicel P45. I'm gonna upload that one so you can compare both cells again. Yes, at the end, the 45 shine, but we have more capacity. It's at 21,700. We're not supposed to compare that, and I'm doing it because it's really pushing. This cell is amazing. So What means is this cell is gonna be able to replace those lipos cells in small helicopter, in small drones, in small equipment like the Milwaukee M12s. I mean that they are 18650s, and I mean really small. That's gonna have a lot of power with that cell. A lot of power is gonna have. It's not gonna heat up because that cell you see in the chart is really really good. So let's see. One of the question: if we solder the tapless cell, we will damage the battery. If you solder any, not only tablets, any cell, you will damage the battery. To explain you what's going on, it's you when you solder, you cannot control for how long the heat is gonna be attacking the battery. Okay, um, even when some people say I can solder something here in less than 3 seconds. Guess what? A spot welder in the longest weld, it weld no more than 20 milliseconds. 20 milliseconds is the maximum power of a glitter, to give you an idea. So yes, it put a lot of heat, but it's so fast that you have to see that under a thermal camera. It doesn't give chance to heat up the cell, so it protect the cell. I mean, so when you solder something with lead, believe me, we I did that test already. Even if you do it faster, you see how that cell the heat transfer automatically very quickly. That heat is gonna damage the chemistry inside the battery, and it start crystallizing the electrolytes inside the battery. So you are killing capacity and you are killing internal resistance on the battery. Yes, you damage the battery doing that. I see many people saying I do that all the time and the battery works. I don't say it doesn't work. I mean, you're gonna see the battery, yeah, delivering. I mean, not only you can explode the battery doing that, but again, believe me, you are gonna damage that battery. You're gonna change the internal resistance. You're gonna change many things by soldering. I mean, you have to be very lucky, very fast to really do it. I cannot say, I mean, I cannot recommend you that, period. That's for what is made the spot welder, and that's the only method I will say you can do it. I mean, and with these many people as well say let's use the there is a kit that came for use like clamping method, so that when you put the battery and then you screw and you tie that, hey, that can work with batteries when you are delivering, I will say less than 10 amps. But with high power batteries, don't do that. Don't do that. You really need a very strong connection. So spot welding is the only way that I can recommend you, man, to answer that question. Let's see, John. Thank you, John. uh, who else? Make do, make not. How long you leave the solder in the cell? Yeah, again, I just answered that question. I will don't do that. I mean, and not only that, soldering, there is no way you can know if it's a cold weld. I mean, to do a good weld, you really need to, you need more than 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I mean, you need to do, I mean, what you have to do. And I will just don't recommend that. Don't do it, buddy, especially expensive batteries. I mean, again, each battery, let's say $5. You need to weld 12 batteries. But you will risk $5 batteries trying to do that. I mean, you have an accident, Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, I will give you another bullet. I'm gonna show it something now. Look at this. I'm gonna share the entire screen just to show you something. If you go, for example, let's go to ChatGPT. Anybody can do this. Ask ChatGPT, give me a shard with copper, nickel, Uh, lead, that's the one that we use. Tin, uh, and conductivity properties. Add more materials as you can. I asked for more materials. That's what I want to show you. Again, this is not always accurate, but I mean, it's the easiest way that I can recommend you. I mean, if come on, look at this. That's what I want to show. Copper is 100% conductive. Silver is 105. We don't use silver. It's too expensive, and there is more reason for not use silver. Gold is 70% comparing with copper. Look at how far is the lead that we use for soldering. 7% conductive next to copper. So obviously, it's not only lead. It contains tin, but still the tin, look at the 15%. That's what I want to explain you. Even check the nickel. And this is pure nickel, 22%. So it means the copper is four times more conductive than nickel. Imagine other materials like brass. Look at this. Brass is only 28. I know aluminum is good, is 61. Still, copper is much better. Again, what I want to explain is by adding, let's see, I'm reading what you guys says. Do you think that the new welder broke only because it's different welder? Now I'm gonna explain you what that happened. Anyway, let me finish what I was talking. When you introduce soldering, for example, when you build a pack and you start soldering, I mean, using lead, you're introducing resistance. You're introducing resistance. So you're making high power packs by using copper nickel sandwich. Why copper? You just seen the table. Copper is 100% conductive, right? When nickel is only 22% conductive. You want the copper in the first layer of the battery. The copper is going to be touching directly the battery first, then the nickel on top. Why? Because that copper is the one that is going to transfer the current quickly and more efficient. The nickel in reality is used only to weld the copper. Why? Many people ask me, why, if you have a powerful spot welder, you don't weld the copper alone without the nickel? Well, the reason is because the copper alone, first of all, is so conductive that dissipate the heat that produced when weld so fast that doesn't allow chance to weld correctly. So that's the first reason. The second reason is the copper is a material that is very soft, and so the copper you can bend very easy and you can break as well the copper. So the fact that it's so soft, when you try to peel it out, it's gonna peel out very easy when it's copper alone. However, when you put nickel on top, the nickel is harder. When you put nickel on top, the nickel is going to hold the copper in place. And that's why even when I'm able to weld directly to the battery, the copper alone, I always use nickel. I mean, I use nickel 0.1, the thinnest one. That's all you need. You don't need 0.2, you don't need 4.15, you don't need a thick nickel. The thinnest nickel possible, and actually it doesn't have to be even nickel, pure nickel. You can use nickel steel. You need the resistance of that nickel steel to create more heat. Again, that heat is only less than 20 milliseconds. It's not going to affect the battery. Okay. So when you use a spot welder, that's why you use that. So don't affect the battery. So I answered that question already. Um, yes, some people doesn't know I bought a spot welder uh, that is called oh my god, A with a Z, 8 with brand model P120 D. The spot welder more powerful than the glitter egg 11. That spot welder, it's 69.2 kilowatts. Of course, it runs in 10.5 volts, which it have almost the same. The glitter is 7,000 amps in the current, This spot welder, I believe, is 6,500, but hey, 500 is not too much, the difference, but very powerful. Now, however, I tested, they claim the spot welder was able to weld nickel zero point 0.5. In fact, I welded. I welded and it works, but not with the original cables. The original cables, they were thinner than zero point 0.4, 0.8, maybe safer. I'm gonna answer that soon. Uh, yeah, back to the what I was talking. The welder was unable to weld the zero point 0.5 with the cable that came with. The cable that came with, they were a little bit thinner than the ones that the Glitter Egg 11 has. So I decided to swap out the cables. I put the glittery cables on that new welder. Boom, a beast. I love it. I worked for 1 day with that welder and I fell in love. I was able to weld even zero point 0.4 copper without have to use the thermal. I mean, not the thermal, the flutes, the copper flutes. By the way, I sold out all today. The all the I have left the copper flutes. Um, I was able to weld that. What happened is next day when I tried to use the welder, it started exploding all the batteries. I'm gonna share something here with you guys here. Let me show you so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me share the Facebook because I post all this in Facebook. If you wanna know more information, hey, I post everything in the Facebook group. Find this group DIY 500 amp. I mean that's where I we post every day. And I did a post. Let me show you here. The post. This is that's the new welder. By the way, I returned it because look at what he started doing. The welder after here I did the test. There's few videos. I'm gonna upload that later in YouTube. That's the cable that came with that welder. They are thin. See, I was measuring here versus the glitter cables, and that's the weight of those cables. That's the cable weight much tougher. So and all that. And anyway, see, that's what it was welding. Copper zero point 0.5. All right, new test. As a test, this is zero point 0.5, right? And I'm gonna use the glitter cables, so with just a little bit, with just a little touch of, let's see, the flux, just a little touch. Let's see. I'm going forward, so you. If I can do zero, be able to achieve this. Let me make sure we have the filter tight, tight fit, double shot. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Anyway, that welder allow you to do double shots, so that's really good. That is impressive. And anyway, next day, here's what's happening. The next day, it started destroying the batteries. Let me put you and show you the pictures here. Let's see where I put it. Here. That's what's happened next day. Even in the minimum gear, in the minimum, it was destroying the battery. I have a fire here with one of the batteries. This one, when exploded all the fire. So I destroyed in total. Um, Let me stop sharing this. Sorry about that. I destroyed in total 7 batteries with that welder when it came back. So I tried to reach the company by email, by support, by Facebook, by YouTube, everywhere. And because I don't have any response in 3 days for support, I returned it. I paid $900 almost for that welder. So I want to give a chance again to this welder again, but this time I'm not gonna use the glitter cables. Here's what happened. What happened is apparently that welder and many of the welders are tuned. The MOSFET are tuned based in the resistance with the cable that came with the welder. when you introduce cables like the glitter cables that they have less resistance, so apparently those MOSFET, they release more power and they are heating up more and you destroy the MOSFET eventually. That's what I believe it happened in that case. However, I use my glitter 801H with the glitter 811 cables all day, and I haven't had any issue. I heard somebody that told me that they blow the MOSFET using the 811 cables. I heard that twice, by the way. My experience, I never had that problem. But if someone now, when someone asks me, I said, "Hey, FYI, I have two reports from people that are blowing the cables. Be aware, it can happen." So I honestly, I don't recommend that. If you want to do it, it's on you. You're in your own. Okay, I'm in my own. I know if that blow the, but I have another. I have a brand new, kit that if I damage my welder, I fix my welder in my own. So yeah, that's what it is. So now let me answer the next question. How about when the price does not matter? Um, are we talking about the welder? If you can, if K with cake, if you can tell me what you are referring, I can tell you if you are talking about the batteries. I mean, still, even with the high price, doesn't matter. If it's a 18650 high power, that JP30, even it's gonna be cheaper than Molicel, is the way to go. Uh, if you are talking about high power at 21700s, in this moment JP40 is the king. In this moment, um, available, and we need to clarify because once it's available, the JP, I'm sorry, the 50PL, that cell is a beast. I have to say, it's a beast. So another question is 0.4 millimeters by 8 millimeters copper. It's safe for 40 to 60 amp discharging rate. Absolutely. For 0.4 is overkill for 40 or 60 amps. You can do 40 or 60 amps with zero point 0.1 copper. With zero point 0.1 you can do it. Yes, it's gonna run in the little bit in the hot side, but you can do it with even zero point 0.1 copper. If you want to be safe, do it with zero point 0.2, like the packs that I'm making packs that they burst all the way to almost, it depends the pack, 140 150 amps up. I built a pack here with zero point 0.3 copper, for example, zero point 0.3 with 50 PLs. That pack is going to burst over 200 amps with zero point 0.3. 0.4, buddy, that's overkill. Don't do that. First of all, unless that you have a glitter and you use flukes, you're not gonna be able to weld zero point 0.4. First of all, let's start by there. Zero point 0.4 is absolutely thick. You cannot weld that normally. I have that here, and I don't use that unless it's completely necessarily. I mean, you don't need that. You don't need that. But go with 0. I will say even 0.15, you're good. I mean, zero point 0.2, if you can weld that, go with the zero point 0.2. That's all you need. For especially for 40 or 60 amps, that's all you need. However, one recommendation: you are talking about 8 millimeters. Instead, to go with 8 millimeters, I will go with 10. Or if you can go with 12, go with 12. The reason why, the wider you go, the more current you can transfer. The wider doesn't care for the spot weld. I mean, you can choose 20 millimeters wide and you still can able to weld. However, that will help you with the transfer, not only the transfer, the heat dissipation. So, and those 2 extra millimeters in a 10 millimeter one, for example, is gonna be better. It's gonna be better. Unless that you are using 18650s, that maybe 10 millimeters is too wide for 18650. Yes, then go with the 8 millimeters. But if you are going with 21700, go with 10 or even 12. I use in my in the packs that you seen that I built, I'm using 18 millimeters in my when I cut the bus bar. Let me show you. Where is my where is here it is. That's the bus bars that I'm using, right? Sometimes if you measure this, actually I am doing I guess 17. No, actually 18. Well, you cannot see it. Look at the here now. 18 millimeters. I'm cutting this, and you can put that on top of 21 700. Remember, 21 700 stand for 21 wide the battery. So I'm using 18. You can put it on top of 21. This one is 18 650. Yes, I guess you can go up to 12, like I told you, probably, and you're fine. So that's my recommendation, man. Let me put this back. So to answer that question, all right, man. I don't want to make longer the video than if someone have. Well, we can go longer. If anybody have a question, we can go longer. My next thing that I'm gonna be doing, I'm retesting all my batteries to have a very fresh database. Um, my back 45 disc. Probably I talked about this before. You know that backs they have rate a what they call AO1, AO2, AO3, AO4. I'm getting the AO4. If so, the people know what I'm talking about. AO4 is the best rate for the most capacity in the back 45Ds. These bags that I'm getting, they are rated almost or they give you over 4600 milliamps when they are rated for 4.4 amps hour. What's happening is the new regulation in China, the new certificate mandate to all the manufacturers to print the amps hour from the lowest rate or grade battery that they produce in that in the same model. So the lowest that they have is the one that is AO1. The AO1s, they give you, remember, they rated 4.4, so 4400 milliamps. So they have to put that there. But at the same time, in the next to it, it's a AO1, AO2, AO3, or AO4. Mine's I'm getting only AO4. They're more pricey. They're more expensive than the other one, but this one gives you 200 more milliamps. So uh, check it in Patreon. Go with if the people doesn't know much. Let me copy the Patreon. Let me share this here. So because you need to follow Mooch, people need to follow Mooch. Um, if you go to Patreon, right? Patreon.com, search for, well, I have Mooch as a first option. See, Mooch, that's his Patreon. Patreon, you need to pay. I mean, you can do it for free, but if you want to see more posts, I'm gonna pass that very quickly because these all I pay, and I can read all that because I pay for it. But if you get the memberships, for example, in my case, see, I have a premium level. I pay $20 a month. You don't have to pay that. Okay, I do it because I want. So, but you can start a membership in Patreon with the lowest level. Let me see, show more tiers with $2. With $2 a month, you can see everything that Mooch posts here, and he have a topic talking about the bag. I'm not gonna show there, but I'm gonna show you. He has so much information. You're gonna learn. Well, read the titles only. I mean, read those titles. 100 amp super shutout. That's very interesting. That shutout. You really need to see that. Hey, pay those $2, buddy. I mean, pay those $2. I mean, how much? I mean, it's a month. How much cost you? how much cost you? I'm gonna actually I'm gonna post the link here for Much Patreon. If someone want to join Patreon, you can do it. I'm gonna put it here in the chat. Yeah, click that, and you can join Much Patreon. Pay those $2. Hey, how much costs a coffee in Starbucks? I mean, and this one is only $2 a month. Hey, I mean, you are helping Much with batteries, getting no batteries, equipment, batteries too, because he buy many batteries that he tests. He buy it. Some people donate. I donate batteries to Much all the time, and for testing and all that. I test as well, and I do it helping Mooch because I mean the job that he does is remarkable. Honestly, I really recommend you join that Patreon, so and support the cause. So anyway, we have almost an hour right now in this live. Thank you for joining. Click the notification bell. Click the like. That really helps. I became partners in YouTube as well. I setting up my tiers as well. I mean, for the people that want to join, like privately, yes, there is a $2 tier. There's gonna be a $5 tier. The people that follow me are gonna be hooked up. I mean, I'm gonna give them very, I mean, information that I don't release normally, and not only that, they are gonna have the people in the U.S. Of course. I can give discounts in the store and stuff like that. And once in a while, I'm gonna throw a gift for those people that follow me. Um, Thank you for following me. Support the store. I really appreciate that. Anybody that support the store, again, I appreciate that. DIY500amp.com. Join the Facebook group and keep going. Be pending. We're gonna keep going uploading videos and keep you updated. Okay.